you're still alive.
Yes, I'm well alive and kicking.
Absolutely. Talk to me about it. First of all, the expectations of the Ivorians yesterday. Surely, we were not the only ones that thought that they had no chance against Senegal. The Ivorians themselves, I'm not sure, how much did they believe that they could actually win this match?
So funny enough, they have turned the whole performance, the 4-0, into a bit of a meme or a joke, saying that it's Ivory Coast that's hosting the AFCON, so they can decide whether or not they want to win, whether or not they want to lose, whether or not they want to give the trophy to someone else, or whether or not they want to sack all the countries for them to just play alone. So the expectations weren't very high. But there was a bit of nervousness at the beginning of the match, especially after they conceded that first goal in the early part of the match. It seemed like everyone in the grounds were afraid that, it would be a repeat of history and get a drubbing. But early enough, the Ivorian team took charge of possession and really dominated the game. Even if you look at the expected goals, they have an expected goals of 1.21 compared to Senegal's expected goals of only 1.0. So, and if you even look at the ball possession, they were just a little bit under 60%, so they were 57%, whereas Senegal seemed content to just sit back and try to hit the Ivorian team on the counter. But the scenes after the game were just electric. In Yamoussoukro, people were out, jubilant, blowing the whistle, jumping around, dancing, playing Coup de Marteau by Tamsir, that song that has gone viral. It was just fantastic times last night.
And I saw that video that you posted on Twitter of just a sea of, I think we played it a few minutes earlier, a sea of orange just pouring down the street of Abidjan. At the moment, though, talk to me about two things. First of all, Emas Faye, the interim manager that they brought in charge, what did you know about him? Tell us a bit, because it seemed like a lot of us don't know much about him. Is he known in Abidjan, like in Côte d'Ivoire? What is his pedigree like? Because yesterday, there's a lot of that victory that was down to him. His starting lineup was on point. His changes were good as well. And this was somebody who, in fact, just a week ago, didn't even know he had the job.
Yeah, and it's funny because I think that they announced to him that he got the job on the day of his 40th birthday. So Emas Faye is actually quite well known as a player, but less so known as a coach. So he was a player that started his career in France, in Nantes, and did the works, played for the Ivorian national team. And more recently, he was the head coach for the under-23 Ivory Coast team, which, he didn't do really well with, so people didn't really have high expectations for him. But he proved them wrong, and now all people are talking about is the fact that he was able to prove everyone wrong and basically grab the game by the scruff of the neck by making the right changes, by bringing in the right people, by also giving more vim or more courage to two players who had played quite poorly in the 4-0 loss. If you think about Franck Kessié, he had been quite poor in that game, and he now turns up, scores the penalty, and then scores the winning penalty at the end to send the team to the next stage. And then Nicolas Pepe as well had been quite poor, wasteful in front of the goal, but he's the one who ends up getting that penalty that was then converted by Kessié. And then you also look at who he brought on. If you look at Sébastien Haller, when he came in, it basically changed the complexion of the game. His hold-up play was great. He was able to bring in the runners like Simon Andigrat that he brought in as well. And so overall, he got his tactics on point. And I think he also was good in remotivating the players. There was a sense of pride. There was a sense of, even if at the end of the day, maybe they end up losing, at least they would have given their all. So that's something that maybe some other teams can also take note of and implement also in their team.
That last statement sounds a bit too familiar. Something that other teams can look at and obviously take a bit of pride in. And you mentioned yesterday was basically a masterclass on how to win your fans back, because we saw the behavior of the Ivorian fans after that 4-0 drubbing at the hands of Equatorial Guinea. It's when it appeared to the fans that they were not going to the knockout stages, and then somehow they miraculously did it. Now they'll be thinking, God must have put them through for a reason. What is that feeling like now ahead of the other knockout games? Because certainly now they'll play the winner of Burkina Faso and Mali. Is there a real sense that maybe this is it? Destiny is in our own hands now?
So funnily enough, after that 4-0 loss, the president, Ouattara, came out and said that to be discouraged is not something that's Ivorian. So he was trying to rally the troops to ensure that not only the fans, but also the players don't be discouraged and decide to push on and do their best. So right now there's a sense that whoever they're able to meet later on won't be as good or as big of a challenge as Senegal was. So if they were able to beat Senegal, there's a sense that any other team they'll be able to beat as well. So, but in terms of the reconnection with the fans, one thing that I really enjoyed is the fact that after the game, almost all the players came and went around the stadium and really thanked the fans. And even the Senegalese players did the same thing. I was in the middle of enemy territory. I was with the Senegalese Côte, they were so passionate. They were dancing. They were, clapping and supporting the team for the entirety of the whole match. The Senegalese team came. Mane was there, just thanking the Côte, thanking their fans for all the support that they had. And the same thing happened with the Ivorian team, where they went really literally around the whole stadium, clapping, enjoying. And even after Kessier's goal, they did the same thing. They run towards the fans. They celebrated with the fans. So it's a little bit of a reunion between the fans and the players, although I think really it was just a smaller section of the fans that were really, really annoyed and that caused some of the trouble after that 4-0 loss. After that loss, funny enough, in the streets of Abidjan, people were running around and saying, okay, we didn't win, but we don't care. So there was still a sense of we're still behind our team. Let's see what's going to happen. And, the results is there for all of us to see.
Amazing, amazing. And that performance yesterday is the best way to apologize. No amount of English on Instagram or on Twitter. It suffices for any kind of apology. That's how you apologize to your fans, okay? Going out there and performing as well as they did. Jon, thank you very much. We wish you the best of luck in the rest of the tournaments. We'll be coming back to you. And if Côte d'Ivoire do make the final, you see me there in Abidjan. Because in all orange, draped in orange, it's I'm Ivorian. But thank you very much, Jon Boafo.
Thanks for having me.
Football businessman, joining us all the way from Abidjan with live updates on what's happening there.